Huh. Hey, Dom, how are you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Doing well, Eric. How are you?
Doing well. Surviving the weather and life in Pennsylvania. But yeah, strange to see you on the screen. It's kind of not really our normal night to get together. What's going on?
Yeah, I was gonna say fancy seeing you here tonight.
Pretty much.
It's Tuesday, but it's not our normal Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I think
not that I always remember what our normal Tuesdays were, but I think we're gonna go real fast. We're gonna crank it real high, but I think it's time for
sponsor spotlight for PAECT Pod.
Spotlight. Here we go. All right, welcome to the PAECT Pod, the PAECT Sponsor Spotlight Edition. My name is Eric Verno, and I am the past president of PAECT. And with me, as always, my co-host,
Dom Salvucci. I am now the president of PAECT.
All right, amazing stuff. And tonight we have a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah. First of all, phenomenal production value coming from you guys. Very impressive. My name is Chris. I work for a company called Toddle.
All right. It looks like Senior Manager Business Development, I believe, is the official title. Is that what we go with?
That is the official title. I'm essentially a salesperson now.
All right. Yeah. Doing a lot, though. I see you at different conferences and stuff. So, yeah, awesome. So Toddle is one of our newer sponsors that we have on board. I've been working with you guys. You're moving and shaking. You're doing a lot of amazing stuff. And this is just our opportunity to have you on, to have our group, have our membership hear more about what you're all doing and what you're all about. So why don't you give us the quick little elevator speech of, I hear Toddle, and it's just like a name. What exactly is it? So Toddle app, I think, is what we go with. Take us with the quick little elevator speech.
Yeah, so Toddle was started by teachers about 6 years ago. Those educators had too many different platforms that they were using. They were planning curriculum in one platform. They were using a different platform for a learning management system, for assignments, grade book, managing their classes and anything student facing, and a different platform for communicating with families. So they just took all of that and built all of it into the Toddle platform so that you can map your curriculum, lesson plan off that curriculum, scope and sequence, and assign directly to students, grade, manage assignments, and even communicate with families all in one place.
Nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Amazing. And I know from the beginning and the upset that one of the big things too you're also rolling in is this new term, this little thing called AI, right? A lot of AI use.
Yeah, definitely buried the lead on that one. Yeah, AI is built into every part of that workflow. So there's AI built in to help curriculum mapping. There's AI built in to help teachers create lesson plans, assignments, assessments, even an AI tutor, all of which would be built directly from the curriculum itself. So not yet another tool that you would have to go to try to manage all of those items as well.
Yeah. And, and I will say, geez, my microphone's all the way over here. What am I doing? I would say another thing that does impress me is I've seen 3 live demos, right, of your product, of the thing that's going on. And I know happened to have the fortune of being in New York City to see a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing and rolling out. And I know I went up and I'm like, I was just so impressed about the live demo, because you watch Apple live demos, you watch Microsoft live demos, Samsung, all these different technology corporations, and they always have multiple backups. They have stuff that's staged, stuff that's truly live, right? All the hiccups that occur. There was a lot of people in that room, and they were rocking the stuff. And I know when I went up, I said, man, that's just impressive the way you blew through it. And they were like, well, I do this a lot. And that's kind of like what I'm like, no. But the AI is making stuff new, even though you're typing in what you typed in before. Every time it's something new. And it was flawless. And I was so impressed by that.
Yeah. It's funny. I've worked for a few different ed tech companies, and you're never 1000% sure that when you do a live demo, there's not going to be something that happens that doesn't work the way you expect. And I have all the confidence in the world. I don't even do slide decks anymore. I'm just like, let's just jump in. Here's your dashboard, click around, use the AI capability, and it flows. It's seamless.
That's great. I know I was up at State College and we saw the the interaction, we got to interact with it, and that was pretty good. Giving presentations, it's usually things glitch, and you always have a backup. You guys not doing that?
I mean,
the power of the tool.
I mean, let's knock on wood because
Sure.
You never know. Things happen. Nothing is 1,100% every time, but so far so good. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And again, yeah, knock on wood. But like I said, just the proofs of the pudding, seeing it multiple times, just impressed with how it works. So if it works like that, again, live where bandwidth is being, absorbed the whole deal. So now you take it into that classroom, you're kind of looking at doing some things on the fly to be able to, roll it out. It was really, really great the way it was able to work. So, so let's pause off of Toddle. Let's talk about you a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you cut out for a sec there.
Oh, I said, let's get your background a little bit. So what brought you? Did you work with some other companies? Tell us a little bit about Chris.
So my story is a little bit convoluted. I'll try to make it the most abridged version possible. But I do have a master's in education. So I went to Rutgers University and taught for about 8 years after that. Taught high school science. So if you ever see me do a demo, I'm always defaulting to science topics and trying out new things in terms of what that looks like in a science classroom. I had an opportunity to move to London for a couple of years. And while I was teaching, I actually, and for any teachers out there who are kind of looking for how to get your foot in the door when you want to do something a little new and different, I actually made business cards. And when I was going out to conferences, obviously I'm talking to vendors and doing my thing as an educator, trying to learn more about their products. But then I started handing them business cards and I said, hey, I would love to do some curriculum work for you guys, anything you guys are giving out there part-time. And I really started to get interested in educational technology and just peek behind the curtain. So when I moved to London, I had no choice. There weren't really like teaching jobs, just sitting there waiting for, a random American to hop across the pond. So I moved into ed tech and, I worked for a couple of different companies since while there. And when I moved back and have ultimately settled at Toddle, I started here in September of last year, actually. So it's only been about 5-6 months for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And, I think it's so powerful when it's an educator who's doing the PD. You've got that background. You can really talk the lingo. You can share what I would have wished. I wished I had X, Y, and Z of this product for me in my classroom. You can kind of speak from that. And it really does speak to educators when you're doing the different pieces and talking about that. So that's good stuff.
I was in a demo earlier today, and the gentleman who I was talking with mentioned scaffolding, and he talked about the zone of proximal development. And I just got so excited. I was like giddy. I was like, I know what these are. I could talk pedagogy all day with you. We even we actually only had about 5-10 minutes left for an actual demo of the product.
Yeah. That's when you know it goes well. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Don, let's hit him with some hard questions here. Let's see. Let's
Okay.
get into the roof.
Let me pull up my questions because I have several screens up. So, you've been with Toddle for a period of time. You guys are new with us.
Mm-hmm.
We do appreciate you reaching out and working with us. You kind of explained what your goals are to improve education with Toddle. You're combining everything together, and it works well with the system in place. So basically, like right now, we use a different LMS, but we have our stuff stored all over the place. Toddle allows us to pull everything in together and work from that single platform, including the communication aspect with families and such.
Correct. Yeah. So the way it works is you map your curriculum on the Toddle platform, and the templates that you would use for your curriculum maps are completely customizable, right? Most use a understanding by design template. So Jay McTighe is a good friend of ours. If you actually go to Jay McTighe's website, scroll down a little bit, boom, Toddle right there. So we've been working with him for a long time, and he's a big advocate of ours as well. He's actually keynoting our Pennsylvania Curriculum Leadership Summit, which was originally scheduled for yesterday, but is now scheduled for March 2nd due to the snow. But, hopefully we'll have a chance to talk about that a little bit later. But the way that it works, once you get your curriculum maps in there, you could have it aligned to Pennsylvania standards, Pennsylvania skills, PA career ready skills, CEW standards, and then the built-in AI will allow you to enhance those unit maps to better cover things like career connected learning or cross-curricular opportunities, because the AI is embedded directly into it. When the teachers log in, they spend a lot of their time on the lesson planning side. So they're pulling those unit maps directly into their account. They're scoping and sequencing off of that. So they're able to create do nows, exit tickets, quizzes, assessments, lesson plans, what have you. And because it's tied to the curriculum map itself, it is by definition contextualizing the AI to help them build those lesson plans with fidelity and in alignment with what they're supposed to be doing, as opposed to going elsewhere and using ChatGPT or outside tools that aren't really connected to their curriculum in that way. They're also able to assign them directly to students. So if I create a do now, or if I create a worksheet using Toddle AI within the curriculum, I can then take that worksheet and immediately assign it directly to the students. I can collect their work in the platform. I can grade them. I can grade them on a rubric. I can also create standards-based grading and skills-based grading, because again, everything's connected to the curriculum, which has your standards and skills tag as part of it, right? So then when you get to the communication piece and you're wanting to communicate to families about their children and their progress and how they're doing, that's all contextualized by the curricular goals as well. So it's not teachers don't have to, spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure out, what am I going to say about this kid? All of the information they need about them is sitting right there. And so there is AI capability to help aggregate that and send that out to the parents.
That's
It
great.
is cool. It's all built in. And even Laura commenting, not heard about a lot of the LMS is the way AI's built. And when I look at your website, teacher built AI first more than an LMS. And I really believe that tagline that you have on the site really speaks volumes, because again, going to see and hear about the different things they're doing, this would be really cool. So to tie that in, we kind of talked about it. I know you've had a big event in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. You were up in New York City. And then the 23rd, just yesterday, you were supposed to have an event in Pennsylvania, in sweetest place on earth, Hershey. Yep. But due to the snow and everything going on, you pushed it off to the 2nd. So tell us a little bit about the events and maybe the thinking behind what you're going to be doing. And just, I'll put it up on the screen for everybody. There will be, you can always click on the link to go ahead and sign up if you weren't able to make the 23rd, but you're able to make, I guess you said the 2nd, right? Yep. That it's up here as well. So toddleapp.com/events/ PA-curriculum-leadership-summit-2026. So tell us a little bit more about those.
I'm going to pull it up on the screen.
All right.
Yeah, visuals are always nice. I will say this though, when we do events like this, it's usually, in 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m. networking opportunity. Only 30 minutes of that time is devoted to Toddle. So we get district leaders, superintendents, assistant superintendents, tech directors. We often have keynotes like Jay McTighe, who's going to be doing the PA one. We had Amanda Bickerstaff, who many people in the AI world know, do a keynote for us in New York City. So we really pull together the most forward-thinking thought leaders, not just in the school districts, but also in the general realm, who often do repeat sessions for us. So we actually do these events all around the world. This is really the first year that we've been really focusing on New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. 3,000 schools use Toddle around the world, but this is the first year that we're really looking at Pennsylvania, working to make sure curriculum maps are aligned with SAS, and we understand what the districts need. I know what LMS most of them are using, right? So we have a lot of those conversations, and we know what curriculum mapping tools they're using, and we know they're two different things, right? So we know that there's a place for Toddle in Pennsylvania, because there are many districts that are paying for two separate systems separately, whereas Toddle, you can do both of those in one, plus more.
And this is a free
It is
event.
free. It is free. So you just register, you click get my free seat, and then you show up. That's about it.
So
Yep.
with the key
And
topic.
Yeah, and I will say from being in New York City, yeah, like you guys had your slice of the pie, and where you talked about the app, he did the live demo, literally pulled up, had to create the curriculum, the whole deal. But yeah, all the other pieces that were there, we had, different speaker sessions. You had different people up talking. You had a couple different sessions and the AI stuff. Like, and the cool part was it wasn't jamming AI down your throat, but it was a very interesting perspective, really talking about, thinking about. Amanda did a great job. You had, like you said, like I had that experience, the New York, the New Jersey experience. I know Miami was like the day before New York City. So they were down there. But yeah, so there, you guys have really been on the world tour. Yeah, very cool. And looking through the different presenters and stuff, here's your interesting Verno connection. But the superintendent of the Pequay Valley, Eric Orndorff, many, many moons ago, we were doing the offensive line coaching circuit together and kind of bouncing around, doing some different college visits. So know him from way back when. I wasn't gray or bearded back then. It was just the shortcut. But a lot of great people that are on that list. Missy Halcott. Yep, Director Instructional Tech in West Shore, and also a member of our PAECT board. Richard Collada with SDA which we are a partner as well. So a lot of different things going on there. So that's really awesome. That's definitely going to be exciting. So truly, if you are free, you weren't able to make the 23rd. If you are able to make the 2nd, I guarantee it's going to be amazing from 8 a.m. till, like you said, 3:30. Toddle does it right when it comes to having that program going. So that's awesome. That's very cool.
Free drinks.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could make it. It's a 3.5 hour journey one way for me. So that's a little outside of my 1 day trip.
Book a hotel. It's in Hershey. It's at the lodge.
That's true. That should be nice. Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, and I know, the numbers were, again, the registration that was for before, definitely going to be a lot of good people there, a lot of great networking and conversation. So you definitely want to make sure that you do not miss out for that.
Yeah, we'll jump over to toddleapp.com is the website if you want to take a look at some of the information on Toddle.
One of the things I'll mention is Toddle implementations and onboarding is really dependent on what you need at any particular given time. So if you want to start with curriculum and you want to build that in and you want to do a sort of longer phased rollout, we do that. Mm-hmm. Pennsylvania happens to be the state where there are more districts interested in merging their tech stack in one go. In other areas, they're not yet ready for that. But there's a lot of districts in Pennsylvania who, again, they're already using an LMS, or they're already paying for a curriculum mapping tool. So they see an opportunity to pull them together. There was actually a guy from Pennsylvania, and he mentioned on a call, and he goes, we've been looking for, in his words, the one platform to rule them all. And I was like, that's a phenomenal Lord of the Rings reference, but also a great soundbite.
Yeah, definitely has that possibility, that capability. It's very good. Like I said, one-stop shop. I like the way it pulls your framework down. It pulls the different information that you need down. The ability to pull some things in, and it sounds awesome.
And I don't want to, I mentioned it in passing earlier, but it's a newer tool, and we just released the second 2.0 is the AI tutor, which is that student-facing tutoring experience. Again, there's a lot of AI tutors that exist out there, but very few are self-contained within a system like ours. Initially, it was more or less a chat between a student and an AI tutor. But of course, it would be, derived from the curriculum itself. We are just now releasing a beefed up version of that where you can have students watch a video, and it'll actually pause the video midstream, and then it'll ask questions based on, the 30 seconds or so of that video. Again, in and of itself, not totally unique, but the fact that that experience would be derived from the curriculum itself just makes it so much more powerful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and the fact that it's all contained in the Toddle app, the LMS, where everything's being done there, all your information is being pulled in there. So kind of how Laura referenced in her comment about having to go grade somewhere else, pull the stuff back, send it up to your SIS kind of a deal, whatever the scenario is. Like it's streamlining it and keeping it kind of all in one spot.
And being able to integrate these tools within the platform versus having to have tools communicate with each other externally or have students jumping back between tools. That can be a bit of a hassle as a classroom teacher.
And we can integrate with a large variety of content providers. So Edpuzzle, you mentioned that before we got on here, Eric. That's one that can integrate. And we're always in conversations with districts about what do you need us to integrate with, and we'll get it done. It's just a matter of the LTI for some of the techies out there, these integrative capabilities that exist between an LMS and a content provider. They're all set up to do that. So, it's not even just those elements I mentioned before, but you want to assign something from Edpuzzle, you can do it directly in Toddle, send them out to Edpuzzle, send grades back. So you're really, truly creating that one-stop shop, even when it comes to content.
I definitely think that's one of the powerful things too you have behind it. It seems like you got some amazing coders, an amazing pool of talent that's working on this app in the back end. It's all the stuff that teachers don't see, but we truly appreciate it when our experience is seamless. We know the effort, the heart, and everything that's going on in the back end, and truly appreciate it. And that's in all the conversations I've had. I've never heard no. I've heard, that's interesting.
Yes. I
have a feeling we can make that happen. And that's a cool aspect. And for schools to have that ability to come forward, that some things are, not to say everything, but some things would be able to be kind of like adjusted, changed. I'm sure that AI tutor, the 2.0 version, came out of some of those conversations of wouldn't it be nice if?
Yes.
And then, you guys kind of iterated on it and kind of came out with that. Because I'm not going to lie, when you said it, I was like, oh, maybe I missed that. So I was glad you made a comment about the 2.0 version and how that's like a newer feature. Because I was thought maybe I fell asleep during that part of the orientation earlier. But so I mean that again, I think that's a power of this app, a power of the program, a power of the company behind it. Truly appreciate that for sure.
And if you don't mind, I have a quick story.
Sure.
It's kind of in line with this discussion about how our demos tend to be very seamless and they flow very efficiently, and we almost never have this moment where like, oh shoot, that didn't work the way I expected it to. So I'll often go in and I'll even ask whoever I'm demoing to prompt the AI for me. Now that's always a scary thing to do, because now you're completely giving them control over what is going to happen in the demo. And as someone who's doing the demo, you want that control. So a lot of them would ask me to maybe apply a career ready skill into a unit plan that you don't normally see those two go together. And one of them that we did was they wanted me to prompt it to build in an empathy learning experience into a math grade 6 fractions unit. And I'm like, I'm not really sure how that's going to fit. And so we prompted it. And so it was able to tag as 6th grade fractions unit to an empathy skill. And the output was a discussion about what is a 50-50 split in terms of math, but what is a 50-50 split in terms of society? And you add the term fairness into, the allocation of resources, and it built out this amazing performance task that had kids thinking about that question, not just the pure math about it, but also sort of what the implications are in a real world context. And I was just so floored by it that we could pull that up in 2 minutes, something that yes, in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense. And now that I know that it's a possible connection to be made, but that's the power of AI, which is it's able to make connections in milliseconds, nanoseconds, that sometimes take us a long time to get there. And we appreciate being able to have those opportunities at the snap of a finger, without having to have long sleepless nights trying to figure out how do I reach these kids? You know what I mean? So it's nice to have that support.
Yeah, well, that's good stuff.
Very good.
So I know. Hey Don, pull up that their website on the screen again, would you?
Oh, sure.
So I think it's important for people to know, like, one way, and Chris will ask you to share if they need to reach out to you directly. But when you're on the website, so toddleapp.com, the ability to be able to click get a demo, and then I'm sure it's going to take you, fill out the information, and then you're going to reach out. But if they wanted to reach out to you on socials, or what's the best way for them to get a hold of you? Because I know you do work and you cover New Jersey, Pennsylvania. What specifically would your territory consist of?
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. I'm based in South Jersey, so I do have lunch and learns scheduled for Montgomery County, Bucks County, up in Colonial. I've got another one. Going to be working on Carbon Lehigh hopefully soon. So I do a lot in Eastern, but I can definitely get out west when needed. My email is definitely the best way to get in touch with me. Should I drop it in the chat, or should I just say it?
Yeah, if you drop it in the chat, I'll put it on the screen for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the important things I got to ask you, here's a big question. Do you like leave the Rutgers gear at home and switch over to some Nittany Lion blue when you cross over? I mean, some Penn State, the Penn State territory. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have been to many conferences at the Penn Stater, and I die a little bit on the inside every time.
So you have under the Toddle gear. He's got the Rutgers shirt. That's what I just heard. All right, okay.
But I will say this though, I've lived in Philly, and again, I grew up in South Jersey, so I've just been across the river from Philly for pretty much my whole life. So a huge Eagles fan. So whenever I go to those Pennsylvania conferences, I'll often throw on my Eagles shirt and peacock a little bit, especially this past year. Obviously not so much recently, but last year I was always rocking the Eagles and get all the Go Birds. Love it.
Oh yeah, so that makes up for it. So you're good. Yeah, you're good. All right, I like it. Good stuff. Yeah. So again, hit that get a demo button if you're interested in hearing more about it. Reach out to your PAECT regional directors, any member of the PAECT board, as we've been working closely with Toddle. Our PD committee is working closely with you. Got some things, hopefully we're working on expanding our relationship and our work. We got summit things this summer that are be coming, and we're looking forward to utilizing what all you have to offer. But I have truly appreciated how you've gone about, as I got into the football coaching mode, and actually a relative of the superintendent I referred to, his line used to always be plan your work and then work your plan. And that's definitely something I think Toddle's been doing with the way they're increasing their footprint, the way they've been doing things. You guys had amazing presence at Pete and C just a couple of weeks ago. I know we saw you down at ISTE and some stuff that you guys were doing there last summer. And I know you got that ready to crank out this summer again. So it's truly an awesome partnership. We truly appreciate you being a sponsor of our organization, and we're continually working on sharing the good news, and sharing what Toddle has to offer. And just excited. And again, as I jokingly said before, I've been, every meeting I have, I kind of make a mention. Have we looked at that? Any chance? We checking that out. So trying to push that into our school district as well. So and selfishly, because I see what the product has, it's got some really cool things. So really excited for that.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's very exciting. It's a lot of fun. That's my favorite part of this job is networking and meeting new people. And I met you gentlemen, and it's been phenomenal.
Well, thank you for being on. But before you go, we know time is of the essence with you. The two big mandatory questions. First is, what is your educational superpower?
Connecting. I really made a huge emphasis when I was teaching on, content is content, teaching is teaching, but the reason I got into teaching was to connect with people, maybe share some things that I wish I'd known growing up. And I think I got really good at that. I took that into my current realm, which is I've I've worked for other companies and I've maintained relationships with people through multiple companies. And I think that's a testament to the fact that I can reach out to them a year after from another company, be like, hey, I'm still here. And they're like, hey, Chris. So that's been really rewarding. And I think I'm really good at that.
That's a great power to have, and it's necessary in education. The next, if you could have any superpower in existence in the comic book, literary, or movie universes, or even one that may not exist yet, what would it be?
Teleportation. I love to travel, but I hate to fly. And I was just thinking about this. We just, so in the last 30, well, not last, but in a span of 36 hours, our family was down in St. Augustine at an 85 degrees sunny beach. 36 hours later, shoveling 16 inches of snow. And my kid got to experience snow for the first time. So beach and then snow. So he's got whiplash. But I'm on this plane, and the whole time I'm thinking, God, I hate this. I wish I could just go from point A to point B, experience what I want to experience, and teleport right back.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of flying. And I got stuck after ISTE down in Texas for a number of hours. It can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's the worst.
That it is, yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, we truly appreciate having you on. And again, as Dom said, time's of the essence, and I know he's got to return to family life. So really appreciate that. I'm hoping to try to make it out there for a little bit just to say hi to everybody in Hershey. But I know I won't be able to make that day. But yeah, appreciate everything that you're doing, and looking forward to working together continually and increasing our footprint in what we're doing. So appreciate everything you're doing, man. All right, you have a wonderful evening.
Go Birds.
Good evening, Chris.
And Go Birds, he gets it in there. All right, here we go.
Okay,
right,
before we go,
our first spotlight. Yeah, go ahead, man.
His email for those the dog walkers out there, Chris CHRIS dot Merriman MERRYMAN at Toddle app TODDLEAPP.com.
Yeah, definitely reach out to him, check it out. A lot of great stuff. I can't speak highly. I mean, I'm not using it every day in the classroom, but every time I see him demo and they talk about stuff, I'm like, I definitely wish I was utilizing this. So love what they're doing. So
it was an impressive demo, and it was a while ago that we saw that, and it's been built up since then. So
yeah. And again, like we saw it, we were able to see it with our board, but being there with a little over 100 people in New York City, having them kind of crank it up, because again, Wi-Fi issues, different things, and it just seemed to work flawlessly in the back end. And they were able to do it in New Jersey with a little over 300 people attending. So we'll see what happens at Hershey on the 2nd. So as Pennsylvania weather goes, we'll see what that day brings. But we truly appreciate everybody being here. This again is a special sponsor spotlight version of the PAECT pod. So remember, as always,
PAECT, we are
the voice of EdTech in
Pennsylvania
and
beyond.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate Toddle being a sponsor. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
PAECT and the PAECT pod would like to thank all of our sponsors. Our Tier 3 sponsors, EduSpire, Tech the Next Step. Our Tier 2 sponsors, ClassLink, more time learning, less time logging in. Teachers First. SAM Labs, engaging and effective K-8 STEM and STEAM educational solutions. Lego Education. Toddle, teacher built, AI first, more than an LMS. Once again, PAECT and the PAECT pod would like to thank all of our sponsors for the support that allow us to do what we do. Thank you.